So this is Collaborate and Learn Part 12, and I've got Steve on the line. So how you doing, Steve?
I'm very well, Danny, and a happy new year to you.
Thank you, and to you. So I've noticed you've been a bit busy recently. You got yourself a Maschine?
I have.
And how you
the plunge at long last?
Yeah, how are you finding it?
So far, I'm really liking it.
What is there any particular aspect about it that you're finding kind of fresh and new that you're really enjoying about it?
Just being a little bit more hands-on. I mean, since I bought my Mac, I don't use an external mouse. I'm using everything on the trackpad. So actually get on the pads and the dials and stuff is just making it a bit more tactile, really, I think.
Yeah, and did you go for the full Maschine or did you go for the micro?
I went for the full.
Okay, so you've got all the knobs and everything's all really accessible with the two screens.
It's Mark 1 as well.
Okay, are you finding that you're using the LCD screens? Are you sort of moving away from the Mac itself and focusing on the hardware when you're working with it?
I'm trying to, yeah. I mean, I made a deliberate choice to use it in standalone mode to start off with.
Yeah.
Purely sort of to get used to using the displays on the machine itself rather than rewiring it into Cubase and having to look at both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as some of you, anyone who's been watching my channel has realised, I haven't actually had masses of time with Maschine myself, so I'm still kind of finding the ways that I want to work with it, and it was gathering dust really for a while, and I've really got really energized with it now. I'm really enjoying using it, and so I am going to be exploring some possibilities in terms of how to work with it within Cubase and with Ableton and Logic and stuff. And I think you're going to be putting some I mean, you've already done a video, haven't you, on your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've done the one.
Yeah, so you're going to be looking into that sort of stuff yourself, which is great. And I'm really glad to see that you've got some you've got some activity on your YouTube channel now. So I mean, what prompted you to get involved on that side?
You know what, when I got Maschine and I wanted to start learning, I thought I'm going to blog this on my website.
Yeah. More
than anything, so I've got my own learning curve documented for myself, so I can refer back to things.
Sure.
And when I started typing the first entry and realised how many sort of dial turns and mouse clicks I had to write down, I thought this really isn't going to work. It's going to be too long-winded.
Yeah, yeah.
So hence putting a video to complement it, as it were.
Yeah, totally. This is.
I'm not doing them as tutorials.
No.
It really is just to sort of complement the blog entries.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's quite long-winded to write about stuff sometimes.
I didn't realise quite how much.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me, in fact, the time when I first started working with Point Blank and we did the online school in the very early days, we used to get back to the students with feedback through a Word document.
Oh, wow.
So literally anything that we were doing was it was literally being documented on a Word document, and so all of the steps all there in a list, point by point. And I started to think, no, this is really long-winded, and also it wasn't demonstrating the full sort of thought process to get to the end result, and also maybe things that were changed. So I literally just took it upon myself to record the student assignments, and I sent them back to them. I was the only one doing it at the time, so, and obviously they were like, wow, this is amazing, we're getting proper one-to-one feedback. And when the guys at the college found out about it, they thought, right, okay, well, yeah, there might be something in this. And obviously the rest of it is that it was taken on board by the company, and it's policy now. So
it's now known as DVR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so everybody, all the students, they get this one-to-one feedback through video, and I do think it's the best medium for it. So no, it's good, Steve. It's good to see that sort of stuff going on. And are you going to do some more videos? Then you're going to be documenting everything you're doing and the learning stuff through the videos.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And thanks for the inspiration and spurring me on to do it. Really,
that's cool. I mean, these days YouTube is quite an important thing, I think. It's the #1 search engine for music, for starters. So youngsters particularly, they're searching for music on YouTube, and it's a very powerful medium. You can access it from a variety of different mobile devices, so as a means of communication, it's very powerful. So you're bound to get a whole bunch of people who are really interested in your journey through using Maschine. You know,
Sure.
it doesn't.
Found it interesting looking at the statistics on YouTube as well, and actually seeing who's accessing it from where, i.e., your mobile devices, etc.
Yeah, I mean, all that insight stuff is very much my world. my day job is all based upon all the analytics data for music industry stuff. So yeah, it's very interesting. You know, it's very interesting. So that's all good, Steve. And we need to have a think about this project, don't we? So this project has been going on for quite a while now. You know, this is part 12.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been a really interesting journey. And I hadn't actually listened to it again for a while. And I did listen just before starting this recording. And it's actually, I do think it's actually sounding really good. So the last time, I can't remember I think the last video I did on my own, and I sent it over to you with a bounced track. And there were some other sort of amendments based upon the stuff that you had sent me prior to that. So did you get the MP3 that I sent you?
I did, yes.
You did. So have you had a listen to that, and what are your feelings about that?
I have. I loaded it into Cubase before Christmas. Really liked what we've got so far, but then kind of my mind went blank, and I thought, what comes next?
Yeah.
What needs finishing? What can I do to improve or change this in any way? And to be honest, my head just emptied.
Yeah.
I had another listen to it 10 minutes before we did this call, and kind of still felt the same. I tend to get to this stage with every track that I make. I get two-thirds or nearly finished with a track, and then think, I know it's not finished, but I'm not quite sure what to do next. Yeah,
I mean, it's very common. It happens with me, even myself. And it's really hard to say exactly what's going to be the best approach. I tell you, one of the things that I do quite often is that I get the track and I get it finished as much as I can do, and then I kind of live with it for a little while. So what I do is I put it on loop, and it might be on the journey on the way into work, so it's just constantly looping in my earphones. It might be that I take the track with me when I go to sleep, and I let it loop until I fall asleep. And what happens is, for me, is that I get this sort of subliminal kind of concept where things start to appear that are missing by the sheer nature of the repetition. I am hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. It's just often what will happen is that I start to hear the gaps where things need to be put in. So that's just one thing that I do that I haven't done with this track just yet, you know. Okay. So that's something that I will probably do myself. What can happen sometimes with a track is it can feel that the majority of the elements are there, but what you need to do is to add little tiny details here and there, little kind of fills, maybe little transitional effects, delicate little kind of sound effects and transitions, and maybe some automation so you move the sound around a bit in the mix. These little things can make a world of difference, because from as far as I remember, I don't really feel it needs to have any kind of grand musical additions. It just feels that maybe there's just something just a little bit extra that needs to be added to it, you know. So I can't say exactly what that is at the moment. I think I need to get this process of listening to it and working out where these elements may be, and possibly, you know, you need to do that yourself as well, you know, just to get a feel for what else may be necessary. There may actually not be a need for that much as a club tune. You know, you don't have to go too overboard with production sometimes with a club tune. If the elements are there, the right vibe is there, and it might be good. I mean, have you played this to anybody else at all?
No.
I mean, I know that we've had some interest.
Which is quite unusual for me, because there are a few key people that I normally send things to. Yeah. But as it was a collaboration, I decided not to at this stage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had some people showing some interest on Facebook, didn't we? Some different labels. Yeah. And so that was obviously, you know, nice to hear. But I think, you know, probably what we need to do is to send it to some of the people that we know and see what they're saying, you know, see if anybody's interested in picking it up. Because no doubt, if it was signed, that they would like to do some remixes and stuff like that, wouldn't they? You know, they'd probably get their boys to do mixes. So, you know, I think at the moment it's one of these things where we're really close to this thing being finished in a way, aren't we? It feels like it's very, very nearly there.
It's near
the end, yeah. So I think we just need to focus on the next couple of weeks and really trying to iron out.
Oh, blast.
What's up?
2 seconds. Not now. It's my wife phoning me. She's in the next room.
Oh, okay. Tactical.
That's right. Okay, we're good.
Are you back?
Yep.
So look, I mean, look, we're near the end anyway on this session, Steve. I think really, just in terms of, I mean, this whole process would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it, if we'd both, you know, if you'd had Maschine earlier.
It would have made a huge difference.
And the key thing for anybody who's listening from Steinberg is the missing sampler. We've talked about this plenty of times, haven't we, Steve?
Yeah.
And so.
And again, it was one of my main reasons for buying Maschine. I looked at various VST samplers and thought, pound for pound, Maschine was the ideal solution. It's got the sampler, but it's also so much more.
Of course.
Why spend maybe £400 on a VST sampler when you can buy something that's hardware and software?
Yeah, no, it makes good sense. So, yeah, I mean, so you know, it is a sampler. You know, we could have used it for the the chromatic spanning of those samples and triggering stuff. And I think it's good that we managed to get there. Considering all of those, the hindrances in a way, the technical hindrances. And once again, Steinberg, if you're listening, please include a basic sampler in Cubase. I think a lot of people are asking for it. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, just something very similar, like simpler in Ableton. I don't know if you've used Ableton, have you, Steve?
Not for a long time, and not in any depth. Yeah,
it's a really basic sampler. And,
I actually have Ableton Live Lite installed on my machine and haven't touched it.
Yeah, it's a great little sampler, and that's all that Cubase needs. It needn't be anything that's threatening Halion 4, which is their flagship sampler. This is something that has its own space. It's not in conflict with that at all. Okay, so Steve, look, I'm going to bounce this track out and listen to it. Do what I said, listen to it multiple times, see if I can start thinking where there may be some gaps. I'm wondering if, what do you think about us putting a low bandwidth version up online?
Yeah, it might be worthwhile. Might get some interesting feedback.
Yeah, just seeing what people say.
If you're happy to do that, I am.
Yeah. Why didn't you stick? Have you got a SoundCloud? I
have got SoundCloud. Yeah, I can put it up on there. I can also link it to my website as well.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea because that's going to make this quite an interactive experience. I mean, probably do a little fade, maybe about bar 30. We're 32 bars to the start of that section. I tell you what, look, Steve. What I'll do is I'll bounce it out. And I'll make it to a low quality because I don't want it to be 128. I want it to be a little bit less than that, maybe 112 kilobits per second.
Okay.
So basically, people get a sense of the track, they get a feel for it, the basic structure, and then we can just get some opinions, see what people are thinking, and then we can see what's happening. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Should do that. So I'll send it to you tonight, and then you can do your blog business, whatever, and put it up on your channel. Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, cool. Nice one, Steve. So not sure when it's going to be when we get back on this, but let's try and make sure we get this all nailed down within the next couple of weeks, yeah?
Okay, yep.
All right. Nice one, Steve.
Brilliant.
Take care, mate, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yep, take care, mate.
All right, cheers. Bye.